All right, we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Fan Fuel Motorsports. Alex is currently at work, trapped in a couple thunderstorms, it sounds like. So I am your interim host, Colton Cranmore. I'm joined again, as always, by Nathan Ball and Jared Bakaisa down on the bottom there. Jared, first off, there was a big basketball game this week that I heard about.
There was. My Jayhawks finally sealed the deal. First time in 10 years they were even in a championship game. First time since 2008. Largest comeback in championship history, and it was the most viewed national championship game in college basketball history. And I was a part of it.
Hell
That's
yeah.
your stat. That's your stats. Rock chalk. You can see it in the name here. I finally got my hat, and I've had this jersey for years, and now I can finally wear it with pride for the next year. For once, one of my teams actually won a big game.
Now, before we get into the motorsports stuff, how in the hell are you a Kansas fan living in Pennsylvania?
Here now we're getting into some juicy stuff. Whenever I was little, I watched Kansas versus Missouri game. I love the student section that Kansas had. And like being like 10 years old, 11 years old, I was like, wow, that's awesome. And for some reason in our area, we have like a large amount of Duke and North Carolina fans for some reason, which in Pennsylvania, that's why. That's one of my big things. So I'm like, you know what? If we're gonna go out of state teams, I'm gonna go Kansas. Kansas is my favorite team.
That's interesting. My team is Wyoming, fair to say, and we won the national championship in 1943.
All right.
So don't call us ballers or nothing.
Hey, you produced Josh Allen, so that counts as something.
Yeah, we did produce Josh Allen. Cody Powers, Kansas ass.
Hey, Cody, how'd Tennessee do?
Oh man,
that's what I thought.
And lucky Dalton's not here.
Yeah. Dalton is probably the biggest Tennessee fan I've ever met. Like that dude, it will ruin his fucking day when Tennessee loses.
Like I've never seen a more passionate fan in my life. Like whether it comes to NASCAR, sports, anything.
Yeah.
How'd Virginia Tech do in the tournament?
And see, I'm not a basketball guy, so you guys can just sit.
Right, I'm not a big basketball guy either. I'm more of a football guy.
So you said this is their first title since what, 2008?
2008. I wasn't even a fan then. I joined the bandwagon afterwards, I guess.
And so now you're back on the bandwagon, right?
I've been on the bandwagon. I've been posting pictures of myself. I wore a full Kansas. I have the jersey. I have this jersey, and I have the matching game shorts. I wore it to school back in the day. There's pictorial proof of it that I wore it.
Hell yeah!
I was a big fan then. Got made fun of, and I bet you those guys aren't laughing now at me. They probably still are. But...
All right, so I guess let's get into the motorsports stuff. Now that we're done talking shit about basketball, Xfinity race. Jared, did you watch any of the Xfinity race?
I caught about the last 90 laps. I was busy on Saturday. I kind of I had it on like in the background, but I wasn't really like focused on it. But I did like actually sit down and watch like the last 100 laps or so.
Oh yeah, and then Nate, you watched it because we were talking.
I watched it like at least 2/3 of it because I saw the whole ending and whatnot.
Second here. So I am switching over tab to Alex. If you're watching, I don't know if you are or not. We got 3 viewers.
Yeah, so we're doing pretty good.
We're gonna have Cody Powers join us for a little bit.
Oh, Cody!
Just have a little party since I missed the last one because I was not doing so well.
You were out cold.
So Raja Caruth had his first race, his Xfinity Series debut with Tommy Joe Martin's Racing, the number 44. I thought he did pretty damn good for it being his first race. He finished P24. He was a couple laps down, but that is to be expected, not only for your first race, but for the TJM equipment as of late. What did you guys think of him? Because I thought he was a hell of a wheelman. You could see him towards the end of stage 1, really trying to feather the throttle and save the car a little bit when you could tell his tires were gone.
Yeah, I was impressed. He went from, I think someone on the radio was complaining about him earlier, one of the leaders, I think it was Allmendinger, and then you could see him slowly get better throughout the day, which I think is the biggest thing, because it seems like he never gets worse. He always gets better, which you always want to see that.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too. He was running more competitive lap times the further it went into the race. And so it'll be interesting to see. I don't know where his next start is. I know Alex has told us a couple times.
Yeah. I think it's Dover, maybe.
Yeah, that sounds about right. But it's really cool to see him. We got him first, so
yeah, he was our first guest, or first driver guest, that is.
Yeah,
Fanfield alumni.
Yeah, hell yeah, graduate of Fanfield University. And then we saw really a 2-horse battle for most of the race in John Hunter Nemechek and Ty Gibbs. Those two are really the class of the field, and ultimately it came down to them. But we did have Sam Mayer finish P3. Does that stand out to you guys at all? Because it kind of raised my eyebrows a little bit.
It did a little bit. I think he's always been talented. It's just the results clearly haven't been there the last year or so. So I think if he just has clean races, it's probably going to happen a little more often. But I do remember seeing somewhere that he was the fastest car on the track the last run. He just didn't have track position. So you could see that gap coming down a little bit further down. He just ran out of time.
Yeah, I agree with Nate on that. I think if he just stays clean in his race, he's going to get more results like that. And I think having that third place finish is really just going to give us more momentum moving forward.
Yeah, and I really think that Sam Mayer is going to turn into what a lot of people thought Riley Herbst was going to be, because we did see Sam have a lot of just kind of rookie mistakes that back half of last season when he took over that 8 car. And as well as a couple earlier this year, just kind of little things. So that's really what kind of impressed me, is that he was able to put together a full competitive run all day. Nate, you had mentioned it before we got on. The onboard shots were absolutely atrocious.
Yeah. I'm not saying that we can't have onboards at all. It's just a matter of how much they used it. It's probably about 40 of the last 50 laps, I'd have to guess, wasn't an onboard in some way, shape, or form. And even the finish was like a split screen between 2 different onboards. And I'm like, what's going on?
There was a point where they were showing both drivers' helmets like on a split screen. I'm like, why are we seeing that? Like, I'd rather see you have a side-by-side action happening and you're playing a split screen like we're watching a podcast or something. My goodness.
So we do have in the waiting room here. I'm about to call him in, Mr. Cody Effin Powers. Again, for those of you watching, I missed the last, not this last episode, but the one before when Cody was actually on. So first time I'm joined with Cody on Fan Fuel.
Hey, thanks for having me back.
Hi, Cody.
Hey, Jared.
Chilling at home, not a ton to do tonight.
Yeah, Wednesdays are usually my days off. It's kind of like my adult day. That's when I wash all my clothes and do all my adult stuff.
You're in Victory Lane. Wow.
Yeah, I've been here since Sunday. I was supposed to interview a driver, and
Damn, it's still light out over there. That's pretty cool.
There's something about Eastern Virginia. Sun never goes down.
Yeah,
especially at 8 o'clock at night. Right?
Yeah, I don't know why Richmond doesn't party like Talladega then.
There's no valid reason for it.
Yeah.
That's a committed fan right there. You're just camping out there in Victory Lane, still waiting for that interview you won't get.
I've literally not left Victory Lane. There's a porta potty right over here. That's what I've been using.
Postmates all the food in.
Yeah.
Hey, Cody, since you're here, why don't you talk smack to my face now?
I mean, Kansas's lucky Duke wasn't there.
Yeah, okay. Did Duke win?
I don't watch college basketball. The only time I keep up with college basketball is during March. Like, I'm completely blind to it. I build like blind brackets. My bracket was busted in like the second round. It is what it is. You know what I do watch though? NASCAR.
Oh, same.
Well, you're in luck because we do run a NASCAR podcast.
Wow.
So the last lap, Alex, if you're watching, we told you in the group chat, Alex is a Ty Gibbs simp. Nothing Ty Gibbs does is wrong. What did you guys think of that last lap? More so the last corner.
Man, let's see. Where do I begin?
Personally, I am a bump and run is all right, but I am not a fan of just washing the dude up and using 8 tires to make your corner instead of 4.
Right. I think it's just a matter of how he was raced beforehand. I mean, Nemechek pretty much raced him clean for 40 laps, and then as soon as he clears him, Ty Gibbs hits him once, hits him twice, hits him however many times, and then if that wasn't already enough, then he just barges into him in the last corner, and it just seemed kind of overkill.
Yeah.
Yeah, I look back at it. This is like the Joey Logano Martin Truex race at Martinsville. That's kind of how I viewed it, and I agree with Colton. Like, washing him up the track wasn't the best. It's short track racing. I understand that. I get that whole gist on there. I think I'm also a little bit biased. I'm not the biggest Ty Gibbs fan, especially after watching him race like in ARCA series last year, moving people out of the way for wins and stuff. So I think a little bit of the bias came in there. But it's like I said, it's basically like the Truex Logano thing at Martinsville a couple years ago. It's short track racing. People are gonna hate it. People are gonna like it. I'm like on the fence with it, but
Right.
I don't really have like a solid opinion on it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. It sucks, but it's cool. Like I'm like on that 50-50 binge there.
What do you want him to do? He's running for the championship, right? I guess I'm gonna take Alex's place here.
I mean, Nemechek's racing for his career. You know, he doesn't have fun.
John's performing well enough though, like in the truck series. Like it's a given. He's gonna move up into Joe Gibbs.
I would
right?
hope. I would hope. He wasn't able to afford it this year, which kind of sucks.
Yeah, I mean, Joe Gibbs, they're kind of bouncing around that 18 car, trying to figure out who's going to be their guy. And let's be honest, Brandon Jones is probably not getting that ride back next year either. So you're probably going to have two open seats at JGR full time. I don't think John has anything to worry about, but what do you want Todd to do? He's running for the championship, and John is there auditioning, right? I mean, is it dirty? Yeah, it is. But I made a comparison on my podcast Sunday, and I got everybody riled up. I think that Ty Gibbs is giving us a little bit of a glimpse. Colton, hold on, okay, because I know I'm going to blow you away. I think he's giving us a little bit. He's rattling some cages, if you catch my drift. I like the fact that he is willing to go out there and move somebody out of his way to win. We don't really have that in the sport right now, other than like a Joey Logano. But Joey's kind of slowing down with age with that. We don't have that guy that's up there just wrecking people for wins the way we used to with Dale Sr. I think we're getting a glimpse of that with Ty Gibbs, and I love seeing it.
So that's fair.
Right. I think he should.
Go ahead, Nate.
Like, I think it's fair that he should have made the move. He was already side by side when he was there. It's just like I think of someone compared it to the 2012 Richmond finish with veteran Cup drivers, and it looked a lot different. It's like, I just wish, it's like, just drag race the guy. Don't not give him a chance to race you at all, because
that's what I would do.
Right, like he raced you clean for 40 laps. Like, just do the same back to him.
Yeah,
like you don't have to not try. You just have to.
But John did move him up a little bit too, and in my opinion, I put the fault on John for not moving him up even further away so that Ty couldn't close that gap again.
I think I'm more so with Nate here that I made this point last week that with the whole mentality of just run each other over to win the race, we're never going to get a good drag race to the line finish. You know, it's going to be cars sideways in the wall, which is great entertainment if we want to be entertainment. Right. But I'd rather see a drag race to the end. Again, I don't think it was – I mean, it's definitely not the worst thing he's ever done. I don't think it was that dirty.
It won't be the worst so far this year.
Like, yeah, I forgot about it 25 minutes later.
Right.
You know, it to this point wasn't even the worst this year. Obviously, that Ryan Sieg incident was kind of bullshit. And that's kind of where I'm at with Gibbs. I think I'm more so holding his feet to the fire just because he does have a reputation every week getting into something. I really like the phrase of shit happens, but some people are in shit more often than not.
Right. That's where I was headed. I think that if he's got a lot of talent, he's got a great car, he has everything he needs to win races the easy way, but he seems to willingly take the way that creates as many enemies as possible. Right. And it might come back to bite him one day.
Yeah,
he genuinely reminds me of a very like Joey Logano, right? I feel like he's on.
Yeah, and it came back to bite Joey.
Yeah.
I think you guys kind of summed up my point also. You know how I said I was like kind of 50-50 with this? I think it's more because we're in that next gen now where I think you just kind of expect to get moved out of the way, like however it takes. I mean, like you saw it at Coda last week, Ross Chastain. Like, granted, that that was a good. I'm not saying that was bad or anything, but I'm just saying we're in that age now where rattling cages is you're going to wreck a guy to win, basically. And I think that's what. If you see Ty Gibbs doing it, what's stopping any of the younger kids moving up in the truck series? I mean, you see the truck series nowadays; it's like a shit show.
Oh my god!
Doesn't that kind of take us back to like the golden age of NASCAR, though?
In a way, yeah.
No, because
for Earnhardt fans, yes.
For Earnhardt fans, yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like that. That's what people. That's why like stadiums started getting filled up, right? I mean, because let's be honest, like us as fans, we can dive in and we want to see like those Ricky Craven and Kurt Busch finishes every single week. But your casual fan who's watching it for the entertainment side of it, they want to see that. right? Like they
want
want
to
to see
99 Bristol
Right.
every week. Yeah.
I
exactly.
noticed though, it's like a lot of the people that are more likely to offend it have probably not raced anything before. They haven't had that done to them before.
Yeah,
and I think that's where my opinion changes. When I started karting, I was a little more pro contact, and then I stopped when I started doing this. I'm like, I've had it happen to me. I'm like, man, I'm not really sure I like this anymore.
Yeah, that's
like
where
I'm
I'm at
trying
too.
to win these races clean.
Like I was fully on board with it until you start thinking about the racing side of it. Like if I were in that situation, that's
Right.
kind of
It's
at the, and I know that I would race clean in most situations, but again, I'm also not going for Xfinity wins and Xfinity championships. So it's hard to say. And obviously it's different with like karts and stuff because of the open wheel and
yeah.
But Nate and I agree on most any contact issue. So we're probably not the ones to ask.
Do you think that the safety in NASCAR is making this more of a like pandemic?
Yes,
For sure. I mean, look at
Yeah.
Logano and Hamlin in 2013, and I think when Hamlin broke his back, he said, like, I get it if it's a short track, but why are we doing this on a 2-mile track? It's like
I
they seem to take it for
hate
granted.
those crashes on super speedways.
Right.
I will forever have like disdain towards McDowell for what he did at the 500 last year. I don't
think it's
think that
more
there's
of
a
a-
place for that at super speedways. But I think 1.5s in short tracks, yeah, put somebody up in the wall if you got to.
Right. I think it's just the case of they've never had consequences for the actions before. They've never been, like I said, Colton said, if you do this in a go-kart, you're probably going to hurt somebody. You do this in any other local track that maybe doesn't have the safety features, you can do that. You can do it at a super speedway, you're going to hurt somebody. It's just, I think these kids haven't really dealt with it before. So I look at ARCA last year. I think someone pointed out to me that there was 2 intentional wrecks. Someone got a concussion from being right reared. Someone broke a leg from being wrecked on Michigan on purpose for whatever reason. So it's just, I think it's just the nature of it.
Yeah, I'd agree with all that. Moving on to the Cup Series. First off, Fox. What the actual fuck? This was, and I will feel confident saying it, the worst coverage we've seen all year. The pre-race BS. I think they're literally trying to make every week worse, just as like almost like a bad commercial. Like as long as you are talking about it, it's good publicity. But the calls are getting absolutely terrible. We can't have a single week of Mike Joy just calling a finish without Clint Boyer chiming in with some dumb shit like, "Whoa, look at him coming out the corner!" Like, I fucking hate it.
Hot rod. Count how many times he says hot rod during a broadcast.
Yeah. Count how many times he says, "Oh, by the way," as well. Open your fucking eyes.
Let
to that
me tell
one.
you,
Yeah.
So there's a secret trick to this. My boy Dakota taught me. What you do is you mute the Fox broadcast and then you play MRN over that.
That's pretty smart. The only thing is I'm on YouTube TV, so I'm about 30 seconds behind the actual.
Oh, they're in
Fox.
the wall, and you're like, who's
right?
in the
And I'm
wall?
like, wait a minute, I'm the corner behind.
Or when they're calling the back half of the field and you're like watching a close-up shot of like Chase Elliott.
Yeah,
Like, what the fuck?
What?
Yeah. I think I feel like Fox is trying to get out of it. Like I feel like they are trying to
they're not looking
do
good.
so bad. Regardless, like the commentators, I think everybody has their own opinion on them. Me personally, I'm not a big Mike Joy guy. I used to love Mike Joy, but I think he's on like the DW trajectory right now. Just like weird anecdotals, like middle in the race. Like, why are we talking about like a race that you covered in 1963 right now? And then with Boyer, you got Boyer who's trying to be the color commentator. With Mike Joy, who is like strictly all business, right? Like Joy has his funny moments every now and then, but you either need to pair Mike Joy with somebody who's going to compliment him, or pair Boyer with somebody who's going to compliment him. Obviously, I feel like Boyer would be the future of the Fox broadcast. That's clear and evident. But I feel like Fox is trying to like get out of it. And whoever they're hiring as the director and the showrunner, whoever's calling these camera cuts is genuinely just bad at their job. Just terrible.
Like, I don't think they watch racing. I think they just brought somebody like, this guy covers events. Let's get him.
Yeah, and I'd say that's probably what it was. Like, this is their NFL guy, right? Like, he doesn't know like where he needs to be looking and what camera angles should be focused on. My biggest complaint is the delay from calling an accident to showing the accident.
That's bad.
Yeah, Denny Hamlin and Kurt Busch get into each other, and then like 15 seconds later, like you see the tail end, like you just see their car sitting there. Another minute goes by, and then you can see the contact.
How about the end of the races now, where they won't even show the burnout? They just show a full lap replay of what just happened when we clearly knew.
Like the burnout yesterday, or not yesterday, Sunday. I meant, like they just zoomed in on Hamlin's rear bumper. You couldn't even see the actual burnout. They're like, let's just zoom in. We can do onboard for half the burnout. Like, what does this even mean? Like, why?
Yeah, that's our weekly fuck Fox segment.
Yeah,
it's a normal thing. Yeah, it is. I mean, and I think my issue, I don't like Boyer, but I also don't think that Boyer himself is bad. I think the direction Fox is pushing him to be is
they're
bad.
making him like that.
They
Yeah,
want to have him over the top, which I think Boyer would be a pretty good guy. I mean, if you guys went back and listened to the Barstool Racing podcast, Boyer's he's smart. Like he can get down to business, but I think he's got the producer in his ear going, Boyer, pick up the energy, and that's when
be a hillbilly.
Yeah,
right. That's how Fox always been.
They're forcing him to be like the modern era DW, basically. Like this
like a thrift store version of DW.
Yeah,
I think if we're gonna go in this direction with Clint, I think somebody needs to like give him some moonshine while he's in the booth. I
made the joke last week that I think Clint just like shows up to the track 2 hours for the race, throws on a suit, slams a couple beers, says, "All right, boys, what are we doing this week?" Like,
you got the pole.
Yeah.
Colton does a great impression of him. I love it.
Yeah, he does.
Did you notice that Mikey's grid walk is starting to become less and less? Like they're not giving him 10 minutes airtime anymore. They're just giving him like
I'm honestly fine with that because he had some issues with that, I will say.
Yeah. Is that because you're a Denny fan and he dropped a taco on it?
That's just one of them. There's many problems, but that's just
I love the grid walk. I've always loved the grid walk.
I think it'd be cool with somebody else, but like
great comedic value. And like if that was our only comedic value for pre-race, I'm fine with it.
I would be fine with it.
I would take that over the skits for sure.
Yeah, like the put it out is horrible.
Oh my god, yeah, I don't even know where to begin with that.
I don't watch it, so
they have like the little cartoon character, and I'm like, the watermelon skit was a problem in itself. I mean,
we need to bring Digger back.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh no, y'all! I didn't realize this. I wasn't old enough to see this back then, but they had like a whole cartoon, like a 30-minute show.
Yeah,
on Digger. I'm like, what is this? They had like a merch trailer for him. It's crazy.
So another big topic is that stage cautions shouldn't be a thing, because I think this race could have been a lot better throughout the entirety of the race had we not had stage breaks. I am on the side of give them points at the stages. I'm fine with that. I am 100% supportive. Don't stop the race, especially at road courses, super speedways, and I mean everywhere. Really, why are we doing it?
I think that not only does it kill the TV broadcast, but I also think that it absolutely obliterates the at-track experience too, because you go to the bathroom, like you have to go to the bathroom 30 minutes before the stage break. If you go to the bathroom, because everybody at the same time, it's the equivalent of like halftime at a football game or intermissions at a hockey game. It's totally.
I don't get up unless there's like a regular caution that's unplanned, because I know the stage cautions are crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, I think it hurts it all across the board. I'm totally fine with them keeping it green and then just awarding stage points. It makes sense, and I think that had Richmond ended, if there would have been a caution in the last 10 laps of that race, I would have wadded up the entire race and thrown it away.
Yeah,
Same. For sure.
I made the point that this was a good race. This wasn't a barn burner. Like the on-track product wasn't,
crazy good,
exceptional. Yeah. But it was a strategy race. It was refreshing to see those kind of mid-2000s NASCAR again that I grew up watching. And I also compared it to like a local late model race. You go out there, you can see someone tracking down the leader for 20 laps, and that's the best part of these kind of races for me. I can't stand green white checkers that aren't natural and that aren't more than once a month.
Yeah.
I think what was frustrating though was the fact that they didn't show Denny and Harvick tracking down Byron.
God, yeah.
Like we got to, they showed MTJ starting to reel him in, and then when that stalled out, they're like,
looked at Larson for a couple laps, and that was
they're like, Denny's coming, and then we just never see Denny. Like we don't see him just blasting by these guys.
And honestly, like I think McMurray's segment's really good lately with Fox. He has like a segment where he looks at data from cars and he'll tell you some insight, and he was the only one that was aware that Hamlin and Harvick were catching them before everybody else. And it's like, I don't understand it. It's like did they not see this, or are they just not telling us?
I feel like it's kind of a little bit of both.
Yeah.
I feel like some guys see it, but it goes back to that director. Whoever is directing this broadcast
Right.
just has
Yeah.
no idea. Just zero clue.
Crazy. Like I went on Twitter after the race to see what happened, and somebody had all these advanced stats, and I looked, and they said the difference between Hamlin and Harvick was 5/10, and 4 of those tenths were gained on Hamlin's pit stop compared to Harvick's. So Fox never acknowledged that, and they didn't realize that pit road is likely where that race was won.
I think they just need to add like a stats guy that announces that stuff throughout the game, like the race. And
Dude, that's what
Yeah.
Larry Mack is supposed to be for,
Yeah.
right? And we just never hear from Larry, like every now and then.
I
Jamie
will
McMurray,
say
to
he
your
is the
point,
real MVP this year for me.
yeah.
Like
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you saw that Atlanta segment he did, but he talked about he looked at telemetry from some of these cars and he's like, well, this must mean that Toyota's running really trimmed out, and that must mean they have a horsepower deficit because they're compensating with the lack of downforce. And it's like stuff that Boyer would have never told you.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's the stuff that needs to be like said to
Oh, yeah.
reel in. Because I mean, when we were kids, going back, like regardless if you love or hate ESPN's coverage, they were really good at just like dumbing it all down and breaking it down to us as kids, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
And now, like, we're seeing all this stuff. I can talk you through it. Colton can, Nate can, Jared can, but yeah, I'm not on the broadcast, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah.
like,
See, like,
somebody's got to break it down.
I feel like you
Yeah.
can still mix it up with like dumbing it down for people, but also throwing in some advanced stats. So then
Right.
those people that are still learning, they can ask someone they're watching it with, hey, what's this mean? And then they can get it explained to them without them doing it all full advanced statistics on them, but still, you know, like have that you can do that. Like,
But we're getting neither.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that to your point about the Micah Joy and Clint Boyer booth, I think Jamie McMurray would be a great one to try to throw in there. You know, and try to see how that would work. Maybe not give him the full broadcast, maybe have Clint take it over during some point. But yeah, Jamie Mack and Clint, I think, would make a really good booth.
Yeah, I think 2 people is too few. I think we need 3 in the booth.
You need 3. Yeah, when they can keep the rotating one. Like, I really liked Chad Knaus this last week.
Oh, yeah.
And then, so we just talked about Denny and Harvick. Jared, my guy. What the fuck happened with Kyle Busch? Half the race goes by and they don't call this penalty.
Well, here's what I don't understand. Aren't there officials that oversee the pit stops that they do? Like they obviously must not be doing their job if they like, oh, that looks kind of sketchy. They're putting some tape where they shouldn't be. Like if that's a new role, you would think that they'd be trained to like watch for that stuff. And it took them that long to look up a replay to make sure it wasn't debris.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, I could see how it would be mistaken for a napkin.
Yeah, I could too, but still, it just goes back to shouldn't the official overseeing the pit stop be able to catch that or be like, hey, look, he put too much, he put something there.
Yeah.
Like,
So for those watching who didn't see the race on Sunday, Kyle Busch made a pit stop, and then the team put a piece of tape on the grill, which is not allowed anymore because there's actually a big plate behind that grill, and so it just gives you kind of a weird aerodynamic advantage according to NASCAR. They meant to put it over the brake duct. They didn't. 200 laps later, NASCAR finally catches it and penalizes them with the drive-through penalty. They got to go remove the tape. Nate.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I remember hearing Ben Bayshore say that, he thought it was going to fall off, which is kind of interesting. It makes me wonder if they've been doing this the whole year or something. But I don't know. It's just so confusing. Like, I don't know what the team was thinking. I don't know what NASCAR was thinking. It's just I don't really know where to start with this.
Was there any Kyle Busch comments on that? I couldn't really find anything on Twitter.
Man, I don't think so.
I feel like that's something you're probably not going to get out of him.
No, I think he's probably he knows he's going to get in trouble if he says something.
Cody?
I don't think that Ben Bayshore is going to make it too many more weeks.
Probably not.
I mean, regardless, like, sure, the pit crew definitely screwed up there, right? Like, totally on the pit crew. Also on the official, but more so as the crew chief, how can you not be aware of what the rules are, right? And even if they accidentally misplaced it and it was supposed to go over the brake ducts, it was not supposed to go over the brake duct, right? The first story was they picked it up. The second story was that it was supposed to be on the brake duct. And clearly it didn't help at all. I mean, it did the opposite of what they needed it to do. I'll hop on the Ben Bayshore hate bandwagon all day long. Kyle Busch has had horrible cars week in and week out, and he's complained about them. He's still wheeled them and gotten good finishes, but
he just
as a crew chief in the Cup, you cannot make that kind of error.
Especially with Kyle Busch as your driver.
He'll have speed early on, but then they just don't make any adjustments to keep up with anyone. And like every single restart, you're like, oh, watch Kyle Busch. He's the restart master. I'm like, dude, he just lost like 5 positions. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. I mean, it seems like Adam Stevens, man, if they had not had their little disagreement about engineers, then he would be in a lot better place right now.
I think Kyle Busch is just going to pull on Lightning McQueen and just crew chief himself.
Might as well.
Dude, I definitely think he would have had like 4 or 5 titles if he kept Stevens for sure.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. So it's interesting. I'm on that train as well with Ben Beshore. I was kind of on that train almost as soon as they lost Adam Stevens. I was like, man, this isn't going to be fucking good.
Yeah, it's not going to work.
I don't know who they put up there. But you bet, if I were Kyle Busch, I'd be sending Adam Stevens chocolates and love notes every single week.
Like, come back, please.
Yeah. Wait, isn't he the one who fired him, though?
No, I think
it was a video.
Personnel, and then
Adam didn't. Stevens he's like, this is my team.
Yeah, and basically quit on.
They're like, they just split ways. But it just seems like it's such a silly reason to part. It's like one of them could have worked that out,
Yeah, there had to have been more to that than what is being leaked out, but that's the story.
Well, you have a large ego with Kyle Busch, right? So,
and Adam Stevens is not the, he's not the mildest guy either,
right? So you got 2 big egos clashing.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Somebody's gonna leave before someone gives way.
Yeah, too many chiefs kind of thing. So now into the bulk of the episode. This episode is titled "What Ifs Volume 4." This is actually our 4th edition of going through some of our favorite motorsports what ifs. Nate, you have a really good one to kick us off.
Yeah, I was debating between 2, but I ended up settling on Kurt Busch as my what if. As all of you may know, he left Team Penske at the end of 2011 because of his personal issues. Let's just say it that way. I do think that if he stayed there, if he had gotten to a mature point before he had to leave Penske, I think he's probably sitting on a couple more titles just because you look at the way the 22 team went with Logano, with Ford support, that really helped him a lot too. And I gave him the 2014 title just because I think he could have easily made the Final Four that year. He probably doesn't run the best at Homestead like Logano, but if the car doesn't fall off the jack, you look at a short run restart for a title, and who else is better at late race restarts than Kurt Busch? Like, that guy would probably steal a title. And maybe, I think he makes Final Four 2015, makes it 2016. I doubt he wins either of those. No way he makes it 2017, just based on how off Penske was. 2018, he probably makes it again, just because the parity was kind of low. I think it would have been simple for him to be the 4th best guy all year, get there, maybe get a late restart like Logano and steal a title. But I definitely think he'd be a lot better off. So that's why I kind of did a little piece on that on the website.
Yeah, brand new article. Go check it out, fanfuelmotorsports.com. That is a really good one because I've always kind of wondered that myself, is without all those meltdowns that Kurt had. Obviously, we wouldn't have the modern day Kurt, going through these growing pains of racing for like Phoenix Racing and, back marker Furniture Row. But also, I think we would have seen a more competitive Kurt for a huge point that we didn't see him. This also brings up a good question: is if Kurt stays with Penske, what happens with Logano?
Yeah, I didn't really address that in the article because I feel like that could have been a whole separate article in itself. But I remember his only options at one point were either go to the Nationwide Series with Joe Gibbs, which obviously he wasn't going to take, or to go to Penske. And I'm not really sure where he'd have gone. I'm sure someone would have picked him up. It's just he probably would not have gotten another top ride for sure. Like, he would have had to work his way back up.
Yeah. You guys have anything to weigh in?
I think that era, I'm glad that is strictly a what if, because I feel like that era of Kurt Busch gave us some of the best content.
Like, it gave us entertainment.
radio sweethearts and all that stuff. I love that. I miss that Kurt Busch, honestly. Like, it always
He was crazy, man.
Apparently, he flipped off Michelle Obama.
Oh, he did.
Yeah.
I was going through when I was writing the article, and I was like looking at all the antics. It's like he cussed out Jamie Little in a pre-race. Got mad.
Don't forget about Gary Punch.
Yeah, that was because he was top 10 in points like the entire year, and he was actually better than Brad was. And he was running in top 10 at Homestead. His transmission blows on lap 2, and it like goes straight through the roof of his car. So he goes to the garage, like he's mad. You know, he just lost top 10 in points, and some of these cars are blocking his way to the garage that were like a presidential motorcade. So he just flips them off and rides back, and then he promptly gets mad at Jerry Punch, and that's how he left Penske.
What if Kurt didn't refrain from beating the shit out of Ball Pop?
We could have a totally different NASCAR world.
He probably never comes back.
Yeah. Really mops the floor with poor Bob.
Imagine being the guy that just gives it to Bob.
Yeah. The nicest guy in the garage area.
Here, ask Kurt this question here.
Yeah, or even like the Marty Smith. Like, I guess he almost got into it with Marty Smith.
He was just an angry fella.
Yeah.
Like, you remember the Jenna Fryer thing where he's like, "Oh, well, you said you're in Jimmy Johnson's head." And Kurt's like, "No, I did not." And he's like, "Well," she's like, "Yeah, you did. I have the transcript here." He gets up, quits the conference, rips the paper in half, walks away.
Yeah.
You don't have proof.
I want to see a documentary on Kurt Busch with all that stuff. Like, just that'd be so fun to listen, like, watch. And
that generation of Kurt Busch was like a double shot of Tony Stewart.
Like, I think honestly, I do think that he's on some sort of medication to get where he is now. Like, I can't explain that naturally.
Wasn't that during the time when he said his wife was like a Russian spy or something too? Was that?
Dude, she was. She stole from a military charity. Like, and I looked up the story on what happened, and it gets a little weird. And she's like, Kurt was on the floor naked, crying, watching a movie when he comes in. I'm like, that's already weird enough.
Dirty dancing.
She barges in the motorhome, and they get into it, but it's like. It turns out that she ended up stealing from her own charity, so he kind of does have a point.
I kind of feel like mentally, I'm where Kurt was in like 2014. I think
he's something else.
We need that Kurt energy back.
Yeah,
at least 1 week. I want to see him get heated.
Put that Kurt on the Fox broadcast.
Oh my God!
It was like rips Ben Beshore off the hit box.
We might not be that far away from Kurt going back to those old ways of 2311.
Oh yeah,
riding around like doo doo.
Yeah, like broke a battery or something early on. And
tinfoil hat. We know Ty Gibbs is moving up to a Cup ride, fucking soon, right? That's not a secret. 2311 is kind of a Gibbs Alliance car. What if they're kind of giving them subpar equipment to make it like Kurt and Bubba don't do so well? Throw Ty in one of those cars like they did with Christopher Bell and Eric Jones with those Alliance cars, just to shove Ty Gibbs in the Cup. If they know that all 4 of their Cup drivers are coming back next year, at least for one more year.
I don't think Ty goes up that quick, personally. I think he's going to hang around in the. I hope that they don't give him the Joey Logano treatment.
What's he going to learn Xfinity at the same time? It's like I'm on the fence. Like, the other half of me doesn't want to rush him up because it can hurt sometimes. And then the other half of me is like, well, he doesn't have a lot of competition in Xfinity. He could win like 15 races a year down there.
Here's the thing to look at too. He jumped into the Xfinity Series and just started winning. What makes you think he won't do that in the Cup Series though?
Because it's
competition. That's the biggest thing for me.
Yeah. Like, I don't think he wouldn't cut, but I mean the amount that he's winning in the Xfinity Series so quick is, I mean, it's absurd. Joey Logano didn't win this fucking much in his first few starts.
Wait, he won 5 races last year, didn't he?
Yeah, and he only started, I think, 10 of them? 10 of them?
13 or so.
Yeah, I think a lot of it is, like, I think the thing with Cup is that Eric Jones said it best. Eric Jones kind of set the world on fire in Trucks and Xfinity for a while, and when he went to Cup, he wasn't as good because he's like, he wasn't used to the amount of competition. Instead of racing 4 or 5 cars, and let's be honest, his biggest competition in Xfinity for Ty Gibbs is maybe Allmendinger, and Colleague's not the best this year, so it makes you wonder when Ty Gibbs, what's he going to be like when he's racing 20 other guys that have the same stuff as him?
Why are you going to disrespect Noah Gragson like that?
Oh, you're right. He was leading the points for like 3 or 4 weeks. So
I do feel that the Xfinity competition is more stout now than when guys like Bell and Jones And even to some degree, some of those younger guys came up through it.
Briscoe, yeah.
With Briscoe, yeah.
Custer.
Yeah, I think the
Right.
Xfinity competition is a lot more stout
Right.
than it was even 5 years ago.
I
when
think
Paul
like
Reddick
it's
was
good, but I don't think it's good enough to where like the guys like Chase Elliott, Ryan Blaney, when they were there, they had to race Cup guys every week. So
I mean, and I
that
think
kind of made them adapt quicker to getting up to Cup.
Allmendinger hops in a Cup car at a road course and lights the world on fire. And
Right, but it's
Gibbs
just
is out there
Kaulig
running with him at
this
road
year
course.
has not looked that good.
No,
Other than Allmendinger getting top 10s every single week, it's just where are his teammates?
I think that just has to do with like they're spending a lot more money in the Cup than they were.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, they're fielding 2
Right.
full-time Cup
Oh, yeah.
cars.
We could also look at Ty Gibbs too. I mean, the 18 car is not sponsored next year. What happens if Ty Gibbs wins 13 races this year? There could be a sponsor out there with, hey, let's put him in the 18 car next year.
You better be crazy to dump Kyle for that, though.
Over under
Yeah.
12.5 wins this
Oh,
year for
man.
Ty Gibbs.
Over. He'll probably
Under.
win like 20 if he comes back next year.
I think we see a 15-win season at a Ty Gibbs at
I
this
think
point.
15, really?
I think like
I
10 or
think
11.
10.
I go
10.
10. 10's my max. I'll say 10.
I think if he comes back a second year, he could get 15.
I think he gets
But-
more than 12. I'll say that.
Yeah, I want to see somebody win every single race in one season. I would love to see that.
Oh my! Kyle
I
Busch
don't
in
know
the
about
truck
every
series.
race. I want like 2 off-the-wall winners at like both Talladega races or something.
Like get a David Starr in there every now and then.
Yeah, or like a Jay Buford.
Like Riley
Yeah.
Herbst or something.
Ooh, that's pushing it there.
Yeah,
bud.
other than that, Ty Gibbs smoking the field.
Yeah, it's gonna be rough, man.
Yeah, Raja Caruth winning at Martinsville.
That's
Things
pretty
you'd
cool.
love to see.
I
Yeah.
kind of want to see Dale Jr. win this week, like, and get one for the old guys.
Man, how much of a party is there going to be if Dale Jr. wins a fucking race?
You imagine if Ty Gibbs like wrecks him or something?
Talk about immediately becoming a villain. Immediate, like zero
Oh,
retribution.
could you
Not make it out
could
of
you
there.
imagine? Could you imagine Dale Jr. and Ty Gibbs running 1-2 with 2 laps to go? Ty Gibbs is in second.
Yeah, Junior's not gonna make it out of that.
I mean, he better move him up quick because Dale Jr.'s in F-it mode. Like, he doesn't have to race again. Like, what's he got to worry about? He pays for the damn car,
Yeah, that's true.
you know?
What's
Ooh,
Dale
man.
Jr. gonna lose?
Yeah.
Junior could go out there and wreck every single car, and like the audience is still. I would cheer for him, right? I'd be like, yeah, Junior won.
I think
that.
after wrecking 3 cars, it becomes entertainment. Before then, I'm like, oh, he's just a dick. But you get up to like wrecking 6 cars in a race, and he's still not
Brian
caught.
Vickers.
I'm like, fuck it, get another one. Like,
Shout out
Just
Brad
radio,
Keselowski.
like, sorry guys, just got a little bit loose into the turn. Cut it right front
Alex-
flat.
Oh, this is a fun comment right here.
Alex says he'd love Ty to win 18, 20 races and then lose the championship, which is entirely possible.
Dude, I guarantee it's going to come down to a green white checker, and he is going to run over whoever's ahead of him to get
Yeah.
that title.
He could wreck himself
Like
out. and
he's
put the
going to
guy
wreck
who's
Gregson
running
or something.
second.
I don't know.
Put them
Just
both in the wall, and then,
clean
like
them out.
Landon Castle sneaks by, grabs the championship.
Yeah.
No wins all season, finishes second.
That would be beautiful. Or Matt, no, he finishes like 8th. It's got to be
Yeah.
like 8th place.
Yeah, finishes 26 because the top 3 wrecked out in lap 4 restart. The what if that I had has been on my list for a little while now. We always talk about point systems, especially on here. So my what if is, what if NASCAR had started the chase format in 1972 when Winston joined? And then what if they never started the chase format at all? So I think if I'd have to go back through and look at all seasons from 1972 to 2004 and look at all the points up until those last 10 and then divvy them out from there and kind of decide and see how different the championship would look.
I actually think there's probably some Reddit forums that you could probably see that. Like if
I know, a
people
lot of
start-
people play around with that stuff a lot.
I'm sure I could find something on it. But I've seen like the current championship format with like the elimination style
Oh yeah.
gone back to like 90 or the late 80s or something like that, to where like Kyle Petty's your 92 champion kind of bullshit.
There's some weird ones out there.
That what if honestly makes me angry thinking about, like, just looking back. Imagine like the amount of guys that we don't think of at all that would have like stolen a few championships.
Yeah.
I'm thinking.
I mean, Richard Petty obviously probably would have ended up with more. In like the early quarter of his career, just because of the amount of races he won. I think that you would probably see Senior lose a few championships.
I think Jeff Gordon would be like a 6-time champion.
I think.
Yeah.
I mean,
Kevin Harvick would have won like 3.
to me, Mark Martin is probably one of the biggest ones. I think we
Yeah.
see Mark Martin walk away with 3 or 4.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think that, like, obviously guys like Terry Labonte probably doesn't get 1 or even 2 for that matter.
Yeah.
Kulwicki probably wouldn't have his.
Yeah, because I think
That'd
Bill
be
Elliott
kinda
just
interesting,
lit
yeah.
up that last 10 race stretch. Allen kind of coasted
did,
on
yeah,
some of
yeah.
them.
Yep.
Who else?
I'm trying to think of somebody.
Harry Gant would have been a big contender in
yeah,
9.
nice
Yeah.
day one.
Uh,
Are we
Especially
talking
those
10 race
4
chase?
wins in a
Or?
row in September?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Harry Gant.
So
might
he would have been locked into the championship 4, I'm sure.
Who else we got?
DW probably doesn't win his 81.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right, because I think somebody else had a better average finish.
but I bet
like
he wins
Bobby
in
Allison or
87.
something.
Yeah, for sure.
And same with Bill Elliott in 85.
Yep.
Yeah.
Bill Elliott probably keeps the 88 championship as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
I look at Bobby Allison. Might have snuck another one in there.
Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Might have.
Who else?
Not was it 92 when Davey had his really good season?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so Davey could have been a champion in 92.
Yeah.
I do think that Senior definitely would have lost a couple. Of championships. Yeah. Yep. Just because you throw everything that somebody does throughout the whole regular season just out the window, right?
Yeah.
So,
Well,
Even
like,
if
what
he
about guys
loses like 1987 or something.
What about guys like Rusty Wallace? I mean, I think
Man, he was
probably
close
imagined
in
that.
1988, I think. He didn't win 1988. He won 89, but he was like, I was in stat I saw, it was like the best average finish to not win a championship or something
Yeah.
like that.
I think Rusty could have snuck away with the 93 championship.
Yeah, he won a lot of races, like 10.
Yep.
So yeah, that is interesting. And then what if the chase never started? Obviously, there are tons of posts about this, about Kevin Harvick's
Yeah.
a 3-time champ. You know,
Dude,
Gordon
Harvick would have
six.
dominated this decade, that's for sure.
Yeah,
I think he'd be a 7 or 8 time champion. if we
Dude,
kept
easy.
Winston Cup
Like
points.
2010, 2015, 2016,
yeah,
maybe
2020.
2018, 2020. Like, dude, it's
He
crazy.
would have locked up 2020 with 3 weeks to go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
it's
I
gone.
did read an article about that. He would have
That was
if it was
long
Winston
gone.
Cup points. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah,
He was
with-
2010. Someone said that he would have won by like 400 points. Was
Yeah,
like
remember that
crazy.
year in the Busch series where he won? He locked the championship up in like 06,
5
I
races
think?
early or something.
Yeah, like 5 or 6 races left. He was up by like 2,000 points.
That when we start talking about those types of seasons, that's the only time I can like fully say I get why we have the playoffs now, right? Because imagine like as a fan, like that would the last 5 races of the season meaning absolutely nothing. Like we're just going out there destroying equipment for no reason.
I mean, that's what F1's kind of came to lately outside of last year.
Yeah.
You know, like some of the races are actually pretty entertaining despite the title being locked up.
I'm the
sometimes.
opposite because you get more like fuck it moments. Like
Like
I
those guys
imagine,
Brazil.
I want to come in
2019.
second. Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
imagine
Like-
if Bernie Lamar would have won a couple races. You know,
Okay,
In
it'd be kind of like
2019,
that.
Brazil in F1 title was locked up, and it's like that race was crazy because no one was racing for anything.
Denny would have been a champ in 06 as a rookie.
Yeah, with the playoffs, right?
Yeah,
Oh.
straight
We could have had-
Lightning McQueen.
Could have had more moments like 2001 New Hampshire, like Robbie Gordon bumping
Yeah.
Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, that's what I mean. You know, like
Yeah, because they were already locked up.
yeah, I don't think we see very many like Gordon 98s where he just goes out and whoops ass the last race because he's already won it. I think we see more like why am I racing? Let someone else win it kind of deals.
Shoot, I'm winning everything. I'm
Yeah,
selfish.
is that
I'm
how you would
selfish.
be, Colton? Like if you already have it locked
You
up,
really
going
think you would
into-
just give up races?
No, I mean
Yeah.
obviously I'd still race, but I wouldn't push it as hard.
really?
Like, why am I
Like,
tearing up
you
my
don't
spirit?
you
I'm already
don't
bringing
want
home the
to
big trophy.
win? You don't want to win the championship race though?
No, because I already
Ooh.
got I already got the trophy.
I
you
would
know?
try to win. I wouldn't try to make enemies because I'm like I don't want to get something started
I
for
think
next year.
that's kind of where I am. Like I wouldn't push it too hard.
But I would try to
still
win every
try to
race for
win,
sure.
But I'm not going to try to wad my shit up or try to make enemies. I'm not going to, put the team in jeopardy trying to do something just to win these races.
See, I think I would be flashier. Like I think I would really like be
Just,
pushing the limit.
just
Like,
flex. Just
if I already
flex
have
on
it
F1.
locked up, yeah, like let's make it 6 wide in this corner.
You remember when Rick Hendrick was on the pit crew for when they locked up the title? Like they had Rick Hendrick do pit stops and stuff just for fun. They're like, yeah, we already locked it up. So
See, to me, that's like spitting in everybody else's face.
That's
Yeah,
probably
yeah.
the shit that I would do. Like I'd probably have like my buddy be my
Dude,
crew
if I
chief or
won a
something.
race, you know what I'd do? I would spin across the line. Like shoot, I
Or
don't
like
know.
if
Oh,
I
yeah.
Something crazy.
locked it up with 3 weeks left, I'd do like a fan sweepstakes, like come be my spotter for the week. Like
I'd cross the line backwards. I would probably just who knows what I would do.
that's yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. That mentality is why Martin never won a shit.
Well, plus that questionable penalty in 1990, but
Yeah.
Talk about questionable penalties. Can I do a what if?
Pop in.
yes.
What if Junior didn't say that win didn't mean shit?
Oh man,
Ooh.
how many points would he? So he lost 25 off of that. So
Yeah.
didn't
But
he
it-
wreck at Atlanta or something like that?
Yeah, it changed the dynamic of the rest of that season because he wrecked
Yeah,
at
he
Texas. I think he wrecked at Atlanta. Like it just took
Yeah.
all the wind out of the sails because he went away from leading the points out of Talladega to running like fourth in points, and having a deficit.
He won Phoenix too. So like that
Yeah,
the penalty plus the Atlanta wreck kind of just nailed him.
yeah. I definitely think you see the team playing it more safe, and cruising away with the championship because I don't think that Kurt Busch was as competitive that season as Junior. Obviously,
I think Johnson was probably a big threat though.
Johnson was a big
He
threat.
won like
but
4 of the last 5 or something.
Yeah, but he dug himself into such a big hole those first few weeks up until
He did.
Talladega.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I think, and not only that, we jump into the DEI rabbit hole of like,
Mhm.
okay, well, what happens with DEI? Because, now you're not sour in relationships. If you got 2 checkered flags over there to look at on the mantle, that's an interesting one.
It's a painful one to think about as like just
Yeah.
a diehard Juniors fan. Like that's one of those moments in Junior's career that just like lives in a Juniors fan head rent free forever.
Yeah, there's a lot of moments. for that.
Countless moments, yeah, for sure. But I think that one stands out the most for me. I like the DEI thing. DEI very well like could have been salvaged. It had that not happened. And who do you blame? Do you blame Dell Jr. for saying that in the heat of the moment, or do you blame NASCAR for being just like way
NASCAR.
strict?
soft.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
That's crazy to get a penalty for that.
yeah. And I mean, not only regardless, Junior had a sway with NASCAR that like no other drivers had. Right? It's the most surprising that he was the guy who got for that. And I feel like that was NASCAR's way of trying to make an example and say, hey, we're not playing favoritism. But I think that they took it just a little bit too far.
Yeah.
a hefty fine
Yeah.
would have been all right, but
Yeah. Well, and I think you look at like how different TV was back then too. Like it was just a totally different dynamic where now Harvick can say that was a chicken shit move. And they're like, nah, we're good. It's good TV,
yeah, let's get some more words out here. Yeah.
Do you think that what a driver says should ever like result in a points penalty though?
Depends.
I don't
what
think
it's
so. Most part, I don't think so.
For the most part, no. But I think it
Like,
depends.
what will
on
they have to
what
say
it's
to get to that point? I mean,
Like obviously, if you're in an interview after the race, live TV, and you're calling Bubba Wallace the N word because he wrecked you, like
that's
Probably,
like
yeah.
suspension. That's more than just points.
I feel like that should just be
Like, that would just get you out.
Like I think once you get into slurs, then yes. But I mean, just
Right.
dropping an F bomb because you're pissed.
Yeah, like
that-
Hamlin and Martinsville last year.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, stuff like that, no. But I mean, obviously the big ones, yeah.
Everyone knows what bad words are. I think we're just being soft. Everyone does it. There's 2 types of people out there: people who swear and liars.
Right.
But that was 2003. So I mean like we've came a long way with the American vocabulary since then.
Yeah.
Man,
I
that's
always
just
thought,
racing.
like let's put NASCAR on like a 10-second delay just so we can bleep out stuff and let drivers say whatever they want. As a
Right.
kid, I would have loved interviews like that. Beep, like beep,
Oh, do you guys
I love it.
remember? Do you guys remember that show? It was on. I don't know. Was it Showtime or HBO where they had did like
Oh yeah.
radioactive
NASCAR.
inside NASCAR, and
It's
they would actually play
uncensored.
like the uncensored. So I love that. Like
I
that
missed
one.
that show.
My favorite one was the Kyle Busch and Jimmy Johnson one at Martinsville. You remember
The
that
stop flip me off one.
Yeah.
I think one of my favorites is when Kurt's on the radio and he's like, I'm positive that this car is a piece of shit. Because
There's one
the captain
where he's
is like,
arguing.
Kurt, you need to stay positive. And he's like, I'm positive it's a piece of shit.
Yeah, and he's saying, he's like sarcastic. It's like, oh, 10-4, 10-4, I'm like, who does that to Roger Penske besides him?
The video of Kurt just yelling "fuck" in his car, and you can see him like straining in the belts, like just. perfect. I've got that saved, and I put it out when
There was one where
COVID canceled races.
I think Kurt was upset for whatever reason, and this was a race he won, which is even funnier. He was mad. He's like, these tires are terrible. He's like, said some stuff like, I wish I could hit the wall and get knocked out or something like that.
Yeah.
And he comes back and wins the race. There was another one where you could see him like get mad. He tried to break his onboard camera for whatever reason. And he just smacking his helmet against it. He can't break it, so he just gives up.
I'm telling you, that's where I'm at mentally. Like I understand that era of Kurt Busch more than I ever thought I would.
Yeah, that's something else. Like there's a video of all of his interesting moments. It's like an hour long.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
The last one we got was Jared. You want me to spit it off?
No, I'll go with it. Cody, you can kind of like get involved in this because I think you did a little thing on this. What if Brian Vickers didn't have health issues? How do you think his career would have panned out? Because he came off like a career season with Red Bull, and then he also started to regain that traction with in the 55 car with Michael Waltrip Racing, and then ultimately it just went downhill from there. But what are your guys' thoughts on that?
Go ahead.
Okay. So I think that Brian Vickers would have had a Martin Truex style career. I think he would have grown into a prime and been a very competitive guy. I think he would have spent a couple of years with Michael Waltrip, won a few races, and landed a ride at like a Penske, Stewart-Haas, something like that. I mean, there's definitely like a whole lot other things to factor in other than his health issues. I mean, there's like a lot of controversy around him. Probably be hard for him to like secure some sponsorships today with everything.
Yeah.
But I think he would have like, if he would have stayed a single man, I think that he would have been a very competitive guy later in his career.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I don't know that we ever see him really winning championships, but I do think he's a hell of a lot more competitive than he was from like 05 to 09.
Right.
Because he does have the same kind of career track as Martin. They both were in the Busch Series dominating at the same time. And then they were both, kind of coming into their own at about the same time too, which is really interesting when you look at like I want to do a segment one time on here of like career comebacks and like feature MTJ and a lot of these guys that just had like complete duds right in the middle of their career and then came back to do really well. And I think Brian Vickers could have been on that track.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I don't think we see him lighten up the world, but I think we see him
maybe he wins a couple races.
Yeah.
Like a Clint Boyer type career, maybe.
Yeah, probably a little bit better than Boyer, I would say, just because I think Boyer was flashier to the beginning and middle part of his career, whereas to the end, the age really got to him. And I feel like Brian Vickers would have kind of aged like wine and not aged like milk.
Yeah.
Other than that, I do have one more quick one if we want to hit it. I said, what if Bobby Labonte had grabbed the number 1 ride with Earnhardt Ganassi in 2010? Because there were a lot of talks about him getting that ride before Jamie McMurray was ever brought up. What kind of career path do you think we see old Bobby take?
Maybe he gets the Daytona 500. I don't know if he's as good in the Crown Jewels as McMurray is, but I mean, I think he definitely would have won at least one more race before he retired because, I mean, that was a sad watching him in the 47.
Yeah, I think he could have at least gotten one more win in his career.
I don't think it changes anything, honestly.
I think you all are fucking wrong.
Oh, no, he's going to go crazy, isn't he?
Kind of like a Mark Martin style comeback. I don't think he's winning championships, but I think he's hella competitive because he was even fairly competitive like in the 47 and in some of those later rides that he had. He was.
I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just even McMurray didn't make the chase in 2010, so it's like it's kind of a tough ask to.
He had half his career wins in one season.
But do we give that much credit to the one car in that era?
I don't think it was the greatest car for sure.
I don't think it was as bad as the 43 was, and Bobby was doing fairly competitive in that.
Yeah, that's pretty fair, but
and I think maybe that veteran style driver coming in there would have helped save that team a little bit longer.
I don't hate that opinion. I never thought that Bobby was like that guy.
No?
Mm-mm.
I always thought Bobby was that guy. Bobby was always
I think he's a great driver. I just don't see him regularly competing for wins in the one car. Like I don't think Chip Ganassi was ready for that back then.
I don't think he's regularly competing for wins, but I think he nabs a couple more. And I
Where
think
I think one is probably like where I'll give him.
I
track
think
is he
Charlotte
gonna-
was always a really good track for him.
Atlanta. That's
Atlanta.
a
I mean,
shout out.
any of the mile and a halves, he was always super good at. Pocono is another one of his really good tracks. I don't think we see him light it up on the super speedways quite as much, but he also did really good in the 47 car at Daytona for a couple of years.
Like he also, I think he probably, honestly, I think the 2010 500 would have been his best shot.
Yeah, I'd agree.
Honestly, just give me 71 Tax Slayer Bobby Labonte, and I'm all in.
96 ask.com Bobby Labonte.
Yeah. Man, I forgot they even sponsored a car.
Yep.
That's great.
That's a good one.
96ask.com. Give me the 32 Terry Labonte.
Oh yeah. The whole
Go fast.
what was yeah.
Go
Bobby drove
faster.
that car too after him.
It's only on super speedways though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, 96.
Man, these Labonte
Yeah,
brothers, they
Terry.
stuck around for quite a while.
They
Yeah.
did. They definitely like they kept their name in NASCAR for as long as possible. I got to
Yeah.
meet both of them last year, which was like insane. Like Terry's way nicer in person than Bobby is.
Really?
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Bobby, like, I mean, I would be the same way, but like you could tell like he wasn't as about like meetups with fans as Terry was. Like Terry loved it.
I don't think you hear much from him these days, do you?
Mm-mm.
No, ever
He
since
still
we
races.
download.
I know Bobby does, but does Terry?
He was actually running some race that weekend at a small track in Texas.
Okay. Well,
Really?
Yeah, but Bobby drives the Cookout mobile. Colton, you got
Yeah.
Cookout out there, out west?
Bro, we barely have people out here.
Fair enough.
Yeah. Yeah, we barely. I mean, I always tell people that in Cheyenne, there's a pretty girl behind every tree. We got like 7 trees in the city.
that's a little bit generous.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so flat over here. You could watch your dog run away for 2 weeks.
I mean, I live in Florida. It's pretty flat, but I mean, we can't see it like you can.
No problem.
Yeah, people-
There.
Yeah, I can damn near see the next town 40 miles away.
Dude, I bet your air quality is incredible.
Yeah, because it just
It probably
keeps
is,
going. Like, it's windy as
Dude,
shit.
I went to
right now.
Wyoming in 2017.
Yeah.
And, like it was so peaceful out there. It's
Just
just
because we blow all our pollution in Nebraska.
Yeah, I mean that's
like,
fine.
it just felt
Yeah.
peaceful for whatever reason. I'm like, this is nice.
Who cares about Nebraska?
Right. Nebraskans don't even care about Nebraska.
Yeah, they just have corn there.
It's windy as shit here. We had a 94-mile-an-hour wind gust yesterday.
Really?
Yeah. And
Are your
it's-
houses like structurally built for that?
Nope.
Okay. Respect.
We just don't have really tall buildings.
I see. Okay.
Yeah, y'all's tallest building is what, like 10 stories or something?
It's 12. It's the dorms in
And I lived in a 21-story apartment for like half my life.
Yeah.
So like I'm already above Wyoming.
It's a pretty good aerodynamic place though.
Yeah, the wind is brutal.
12-story building. My God.
I've never been like to that portion of America. I've been like Southwest, like Arizona, Texas.
Dude, it's
New Mexico and
nice.
stuff,
Wyoming's
but-
not a bad place for
You need to
peace.
just go north at some point, Cody. Get out of the south, dude.
The North don't have nothing for me. It's just cold up there.
Wow.
Dude, I liked
Wow.
Pocono when I was there.
Feelings are hurt, Cody. North
Like,
has
it was,
nothing up here.
It was 100 degrees outside in August of last year, and then 6 months later, it was 140 degrees colder than that.
In Wyoming,
Yeah,
it gets that hot.
it gets that hot and that cold.
Really?
Yeah.
This is probably like a morbid question to ask, but do you like? I would if I were you. Do you like lay awake at night worried about the super volcano?
No, because we're close enough. If we're not immediately killed, within an hour or so, we're fucking
Okay,
done.
so you don't
And
have too much dread.
Yeah.
one thing is like the nukes. Like whenever they're like nuke talk gets picked up, like Cheyenne's near the top of the list just because we keep so many nukes around our city.
Yeah, y'all probably
Yeah.
have them in like the middle of a field somewhere.
Yeah, and then like so much of like the parts for the military come from out in this area. Like
Yeah.
I know that like my
Dude,
work is on a fucking hit list.
Oh, same
Dude,
here.
there's
We
like
have,
people out
like-
there that live in like missile silos. Like they'll have like an old
Yeah.
missile silo and like turn into a house.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do
Mm.
that out here.
My city has like one of the biggest army ammunition factories like in America. So
Yeah.
Yeah, like we're on that list too. Our post office downtown is like a designated fallout shelter.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't have fallout shelters here just because we're all going to get obliterated anyway. Like, there's no fucking point.
Well, I'd say like back in the 60s, whenever it was built, like the fallout shelter probably could have housed everybody in the city. But like, our city's grown
not
so
anymore.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you're not the mayor, you're not in there.
Yeah. Well, and see, like the volcano question is like me asking you guys, like, hey, does it keep you up at night knowing that like you get hit by a tornado anytime?
Fun fact, like
true,
we're in
man.
that. Yeah, we're in that concern right
Dude,
now.
I get that Category 5 hurricane.
Yeah. So like, I mean, that's almost kind of like how I look at it. Like you guys are probably just like, if it happens, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're probably going to be somewhat prepared for it, and that's kind of where we are up here.
It's terrifying that like Tornado Alley is like shifting closer and closer to me. Like it used to just be like the Midwest, and now it's like Middle Tennessee, and it's starting to come closer to me.
Yeah. Well, and it's shifting this way too, because we used to never get tornadoes out here, and now like there was a mile-wide tornado a few years ago just south of us.
Dude, I got relatives who
cool.
live in Kansas,
Yeah.
so
Yeah, I don't know.
People who live in like that area specifically, they have like the biggest balls in the world.
dude, like half my
forever say
family lives
that.
in Wichita.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
you're
not even kidding.
You're built different if you're
Like
like.
they
I
apparently
don't
they've
care.
only seen like one tornado in like 40 years. It's ridiculous.
I saw a video last night where this dude, he was locked outside of his clubhouse.
Oh, I saw that
And-
too.
Yeah, and like just he's literally like in a tornado, and like it goes
There's,
over
like,
him, and he's
stuff
like,
flying
"There
around."
goes the roof."
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah.
Like, dude, does he not like get hit with any pieces of wood or something like that? I'm like,
Alex is at work right now, and he lives Phoenix City, Alabama, and his plant has got hit by lightning twice so far tonight.
It's terrifying.
it's Florida's a lightning capital of the world,
Yeah,
so
which fuck lightning. All right.
it's pretty scary. Like
Hate
if you're on
lightning.
if you're on like a boat or something in the middle of the ocean, it's like thunderstorms. Like, oh my god, dude.
Yeah.
Like it's a little bit creepy. I'm not gonna lie.
My goal is
Yeah.
just to stay away from the ocean. That's
They're,
The
like,
ocean.
literally-
that's dangerous.
It's a
You don't
weird
know-
place.
You don't know what's
Y'all
out
ever
there.
been like 80 miles offshore, like pitch
Like
black?
a cruise ship.
It's not my business to be out there. You like when people are like,
Yeah, I'll be
you know,
honest.
there's a shark attack. I'm like, well, you shouldn't have been in a shark's house,
Right.
Yeah,
Like
right.
I was when I was
Yourself,
little,
yourself.
I was snorkeling somewhere north of where I live in Florida, and I was diving for scallops. For whatever reason, this was like a family trip, and like I look up, and I was already like 10 feet below, and there was like a baby hammerhead shark. I'm like, my God, I gotta get out of here. It's like, I was like 10 years old. I was like,
Oh, wow. That's
Yeah.
pretty
Sharks
scary.
are terrifying, dude. Like that is one of my like biggest irrational fears: being eaten by a shark.
I don't mess with sharks.
If you get eaten by a shark, you probably deserved it because you
Like
were
I've
somewhere
caught
you
baby
shouldn't have been
sharks
as a
before,
human.
like via fishing, but like not an actual big shark.
Yeah.
Like, dude, I would not mess with a shark.
I'm just gonna
It's that
stay out of
simple.
their territory.
Alligators too. Like we got alligators here in our lakes. So I don't swim in
imagine
lakes.
being out for a jog, like just a nice jog, and you got a gator like just coming at you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't swim in lakes.
You know what the difference is between an alligator and a crocodile?
I used to know this.
You see
Oh,
one
saltwater,
later, and you see
isn't it?
one in a while.
Is it saltwater versus
Yeah.
freshwater?
It is, yeah, but you also see one later and you see one in a while. I told that to my boss.
Did you get fired?
No, he was walking to like a meeting or something, and I stopped and was like, "Hey, John, you know the difference between a crocodile and an alligator?" And he goes, "Yep." He's like, keeps walking. I was like, "Damn." The wind right out of my sails.
Wasn't even going to give you the shot.
Yeah.
Wow, that's funny.
And, oh, okay. You're more likely to get struck by lightning. Man, what are you talking about? They're the best animals, bro. Like,
Yeah, leave them alone. It's like
Bro,
if you get
like
eaten
there's
and
been
mauled
so
by
many
a tiger,
marine-
you shouldn't have been in a jungle.
Dude, my mom, when she was like a refugee, she came from Vietnam, and
Uh-huh.
her like little place where they refuged until they came to the U.S. was Komodo Island, Indonesia, and they're like, Komodo dragons, like you don't mess with those things. And she's saying that like, there's stories of like if there's like a baby that's unsupervised, they just snatch them. Like they kill like deer, they kill like water buffalo. These things are crazy, bro.
It's terrifying.
Like, dude, like, I don't mess with nature. Like I've learned.
You never should.
If you want some good animals, go up to Yellowstone. You can ride a bison.
Is
What?
that legal?
Probably not. I rode a manatee down here. Not legal, but
Yeah, and also bison are huge. Do not ride a bison. All right, take that as
No.
satire. Do not fucking.
Isn't
do
there
it.
like a video of one like flinging some kid?
Yeah, they're huge. They're massive. They're just a little bit smaller than moose.
No, there's like this group. There's like a family of people. It was on the news, and this kid gets left alone. Like the parents run away, and the kid just stands there like frozen.
Yeah.
Gets picked up and thrown.
Is moose the plural term?
Yes.
Okay.
Mooses.
Check out all those mooses or
Check
moose.
it out.
Meese.
Look at all the mooses. All the mooses.
Are you on like? Do you live in like moose area?
Not really. No.
Okay.
We get a lot of.
Things are enormous, bro.
Yeah, we get a lot of deer out here. Like deer will just wander into the city all the time, and like coyotes and stuff.
Yeah.
But not really moose. They hang out more wooded areas, and obviously
Gotcha.
we don't have wood.
Yeah. I mean, here, like, I mean, it's a gamble whether or not you're gonna hit a deer on your way home. Like, it's
Yeah.
deer.
Yeah, that's how
wild.
it is. Yeah, we don't get a lot of crazy shit out here. Thank God.
Do you have squirrels?
Oh, we got a fuck ton of squirrels. We got a squirrel that chewed a hole in my garbage can, actually.
Really?
Yeah, I bet you the northern squirrels are like fatter than the ones down here.
Yeah.
They're like
Yeah,
way bigger.
There's some
Dickheads.
chunky squirrels up here.
We got like
they're
small
all
squirrels.
groundhogs. What are you
Yeah.
talking about?
Whistle pigs.
Yeah.
We got whistle
like,
pigs up here.
A whistle pig.
Whistle
what is
pigs.
that?
I've never heard of that before in my entire
What?
life.
You've never heard whistle pig before?
No.
I've never heard of a whistle pig. I'm looking it
Yeah,
up right
Look
now.
it up. You're gonna know what it is.
Y'all got like bugs up there that are different than ours, or
Not really. Do you know what a box elder bug is?
Yeah, yeah.
That's our
Those are
biggest-
bad here.
we got cockroaches down here. That's about it.
See, I've never seen a
Palmetto
cockroach
bugs.
in my life. Never seen a cockroach.
Never.
No,
You probably see them
we
like
get,
every other day here.
we get those funnel web spiders
Dude, I don't mess with spiders.
pretty bad. I got bit by one last year, and I still have a red mark like the size of a fucking dime on my hip. I'll have it forever.
Dude, this is a chipmunk. This is literally just a chipmunk.
The whistle pig.
Yeah.
Dude, I just don't. I don't mess with like wasps, bees, all that kind of stuff.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, that's a chipmunk. That's a that's a prairie dog.
Wasps are my biggest fear out of anything on this entire planet.
That's
a
pretty
wasp,
valid. Yeah.
I freeze up or run. Like my fight or flight kicks in, and I fly as far away as
so-
I can.
Dude,
That's
hey,
mine.
I don't get near
have,
those.
have you
Cheyenne.
ever had a bee come into your car while you're driving and you like
Oh no.
Dude,
We
it
had-
actually gets dangerous.
So
that's whenever you might die. Like,
I'm like you,
you don't know
Cody.
what's gonna happen.
Fuck wasps. Hate them.
Yeah.
Right.
That's like my
I will
worst
run
thing.
inside,
Like, if I
pissing
had to
my
pick
pants,
one
screaming.
animal.
And
Yeah.
last year we had one of my dining room windows open, and a wasp got in while we were like making breakfast burritos. And Cheyenne and I were like, "Oh my god, what the fuck are we gonna do?" And so I took my shoe and I swatted it, and I don't know. I think we swatted it into another dimension because I never found a wasp carcass anywhere in my house.
Really?
Hit a wall, and I did not see it.
Man, crabs?
Not
Come on,
fucking
crabs
sweet.
aren't that bad.
I
That's
mean, have
Alex
you ever had
commented about
crabs?
crabs and like stone crabs. We got stone crabs down here. We can like you're
Crabs
legally
are
allowed to catch
bad.
them. Like you get like a trap, you drop it in the water, you can catch them.
Yeah, crabs are bad.
Like
You
it's
gotta-
legal. Like I
Yeah,
don't touch
crabs are
them. But
bad.
They sell medicine for that though.
Yeah, yeah. At least there's treatments for it.
Took Jared 15 seconds to catch that one.
He's still dying. Look at him.
Dude, no, when you're walking, like the Gulf is horrible for crabs, though. In all fairness,
It is.
like you have to watch like your steps, especially in the nighttime. Like if you're walking on the beach in the nighttime, yeah, crab will get you quick.
So, I mean, do crabs like pinch the shit out of you, or like I've
They,
never?
I mean, they run.
y'all ever see what
first.
stone crabs look like? So
Yeah.
like my dad used to trap those things. They are big. Like you do
They
not want
taste,
one
they
of those.
taste
bitchy.
good.
Yeah, they do, but it's just like I don't touch them. I'm like I'm not in that business.
We had this talk at work the other day while we're on animals. What do you think the biggest animal that you could take in a fight would be?
Oh man,
Like,
I mean,
I don't like my
I'm-
odds.
No, I'm honest with it. Like I think I could probably take out like a mid-sized dog.
Hey,
Shoot.
yeah, up
Yeah.
to like 40 or 50 pounds, I could probably square up with
Yeah.
a dog. But anything bigger, like I'm not taking a German Shepherd. Ain't no fucking-
No,
No
maybe like a
shot.
pig or something.
I don't know.
A pig, dude. A pig
No,
will
it
tear
depends
you
on the
up, bro.
size.
No,
Pigs will-
a
like a
pig-
Not like a
Pig,
wild
yeah.
boar.
it's
Not
gonna
that.
kill you and then just devour your entire carcass. Like that's just all there is to it.
I mean, wild boars are scary. Like I'm not even
Yeah.
gonna lie.
Yeah.
Put me up against like a Shih Tzu, and I'm probably winning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe a
Yeah, I don't know.
pug.
We had a couple good ones, like a sloth. Like I could mop the floor with a sloth. I know I could.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna be quicker. Yeah, you'll definitely have the element of surprise on him. Squirrels, dude. A squirrel could tear you up. Like I'm thinking, like what's quick and agile? You know, like a honey badger, no shot.
Nope,
Like
not
you're
taking that.
done.
Even
Done.
a raccoon, I'm not fucking with. Like
No.
skunks,
No.
dude? Hell no.
No, nope.
A bear. Like we have bears in this area.
No, I'm
But
not.
yeah, there was
messing
a guy
with those.
just a little south of us that took out a fucking like a juvenile mountain lion.
Like
Like,
fisticuffs.
Yeah, like it not like a little cub, but like not quite full grown either. Yeah, and just beat the shit out of it.
Now I wonder if he like had the element of surprise on it.
No, I think it had the element of surprise on him,
Oh, then that makes it even more impressive.
and he just like
Yeah, that's
What about a kangaroo?
I'm
No.
not
Their,
no
their
way.
little feet that just like stab
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, I'm
Have you
not
seen
doing
those jack? There's like jacked kangaroos. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
like they
I'm
box
not-
and stuff, bro. It's crazy.
I'm not messing with them.
Alex,
Yeah.
I'm not taking a panda either.
Well, now what
Wow.
kind of panda? Like
He
if we're
said-
talking like
Like a red panda, I could probably take one of them.
Poe? Yeah, that's not
well, see,
happening.
no, like
Like
your
the kung fu
standard
panda?
your standard like what they're called great pandas, aren't they? Isn't that like
Yeah.
the proper term? So they are actually like they shouldn't even be here. Like they like got screwed over by evolution, but humanity has kept them alive. Like they constantly have to like eat bamboo or they die. Like that's it. So like you take bamboo from it for like an hour and you're probably good. You just gotta play the long
Yeah,
game.
I could probably take a fish. I just have to take it out of water. I mean, it doesn't matter how big a fish
Yeah,
is.
fish is a whole different element. Like
Yeah,
anything
like we gotta
bigger
get like a
than
forklift or
trout,
something, bring it out.
I ain't fucking with. Yeah, especially if I have to get in the water. Obviously, out
Yeah,
of
I don't
water,
mess with
I'll
big
take a
fish like
fucking whale.
marlin or sailfish.
Like, yeah, the shark. Let me square up with me on dry land. I got you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Do a home and home series, one in the water, one in the.
yeah, or like birds. Like I wouldn't take any birds. Like a sparrow, maybe.
What about a
yeah, they're
goose?
too fast.
Yeah, you're
There
talking
was a
about like,
dove that like killed itself on my windshield once, or not windshield, like my sliding glass window.
Way to pass blame.
Like we cleaned the glass door, so it was like crystal clear. Seconds later, boom, smacks in there, breaks its skull.
when I was in
There was like
college,
blood on the balcony and stuff. I'm like,
there was a really big explosion one day on campus, and the power went out because a squirrel had chewed through a transformer line, and it just blew up the squirrel.
dude, yeah, there's a squirrel at our
Yeah.
school once that, or not a squirrel, it was like a lizard. You know, the AC has like spinning blades. We were like up on a second floor. It jumped off like into one of those things, and I'm like, and someone's like, "Oh, what's so funny?" And I'm like,
Animal suicides, huh?
"Yeah,
It happens.
It's sad.
Maybe
It's
they're
sad
going
for a
through,
minute.
maybe they're going through some things.
I mean, that is natural selection at its finest, though. You know?
Yeah, like,
yeah."
isn't-
Some
isn't-
animals
aren't-
aren't that right.
Aren't sloths like number one like suicide rate animals just because?
Yeah,
they
because when they're
mistake them at all?
climbing, they'll grab
Yeah.
their arm and then just plummet.
Yeah.
It's so sad when you think about it. It's just so
They're
sad.
just coming up like, oh,
Turkeys
I'm
too. Like turkeys are fucking stupid.
Yeah, but turkeys are like also wild. Like a turkey
Yeah,
can
Sheep
mess you
aren't that
up.
right.
Yeah,
They taste good on Thanksgiving.
yeah.
They do. I was mauled by a goat as a child.
Is mauled the right word?
Yeah, it was because it like we went to the petting zoo and it ate the shirt off of me, bro. Like it had me down and it tore my entire shirt off.
Whoa, wow, whoa, this is getting a little. This is a little getting PG.
So I have like an actual fear of goats now. Like I can't be
Yeah.
around them.
You don't want to fuck.
So
with
you're like
goats.
afraid of
Yeah.
Jeff
No.
Gordon or something like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
you're afraid to play. You can never meet LeBron James or like
Yeah, Tom Brady. Yeah,
Tom Brady.
Yeah,
I'd just be afraid Tom Brady'd kiss me on the lips.
yeah.
He wouldn't. Wow.
Dad references.
Wow.
Well, hell of a tangent.
yeah, that's interesting.
Welcome to the NASCAR podcast.
Yeah, we ended what ifs like 20 minutes ago.
What if Carl Edwards wins the championship in 2016, doesn't retire, which does not force Daniel Suarez to be rushed into the Cup?
This is interesting. I think that Edwards definitely has like a couple good seasons. I don't know if he goes like crazy, but I think that his age 38 peak season was coming up. So I think he could have had like one more really good season and then probably called it quits.
I am going to say that I think we see him forced out of a ride instead of Matt Kenseth.
Really?
Ooh, because of Eris, maybe? Like
Kenseth was like fucking dominant for a little while. Still
Even
in that
after
era.
winning the
was.
championship, though?
Yeah.
He won what? Like he won 7 races 2013, second in points. 2014 he didn't win, but he was like the best Gibbs car by a mile for most of the year.
Yeah.
2015 he wins like 5 races. Doesn't have consistency, but 2016 he almost makes Final Four. 2017 he almost makes Final Four. I mean, shoot,
I think
he
if
could
you
have
had
done
to
good.
say Edwards is getting the boot instead of Kenseth.
Man, that'd been crazy. Like, imagine a team that good and having to get rid of one of them.
So where does that put Daniel Suarez, like career trajectory?
Probably a couple years later, maybe to the 19.
Do you think he has more success when he comes to the 19?
I think he's where Bubba Wallace is now.
Yeah,
so?
that's a good chance.
Where's Truex at then in this picture?
SHR probably. If Furniture Row shuts down, the SHR's got an open 41 because Kurt Busch would have left for Ganassi. So I think he goes to Stewart Haas, takes Bass Pro with him.
Why wouldn't Truex go to CGR though?
I mean, SHR after 2018, they were crazy good that year. So like,
But that 41 car is like just historically bad.
right? But like, even Kurt was like 5th in points that year. So they just had more money and they had more infrastructure. I mean, doesn't mean they're going to run good. It just
Yeah, but
I don't
Truex would have
know.
gone back to the 1 car, right? Like
yeah, but like
full circle.
that'd have been cool. But I mean,
That
even
would be
Kurt
cool,
Busch
actually.
couldn't do a lot with them. Like, win a race and maybe be top 10 in points. But
Yeah. Yeah, even Kyle Larson didn't do a lot with them. Like, obviously, he won 4 races in 2017, but the inconsistency of that team would have killed
Crazy.
Martin's career. Yeah, had he gone to CGR.
like, I think he
Um,
stood a chance at Stewart Haas, but maybe not CGR.
Maybe we even see him go to Levine family instead of Casey King.
That would have been interesting.
You
Where's
know,
Casey King go though?
Retires, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Casey would have retired way earlier than he did. Had he kind of had to fight for a ride instead of really kind of been handed one.
Yeah, I'm a little bit interested in that. What if Biffle went to JGR? Because he got an offer in the early 2010s, but he turned it down every time.
Man, if the Biff would have been in a solid consistent
yeah.
ride, man.
He was good in 2012. Like, he was like top 3 in points all year. And
See, I was a Carl Edwards fan growing up, and like when Kenseth went over to Gibbs, I was happy because I was like, now Carl can be the guy. And then, of course, that's at like the fall off of Roush anyway.
Yeah.
But he goes over and he's right back with Kenseth again. So
Yeah. Huh.
yeah.
Pain.
Oh, man. My butt hurts. This chair is not comfy. Whew.
My chair's fine.
Some tailbone pain.
I got wheelie chair.
Well, any final thoughts?
Oh, Cody, what are you doing this weekend?
I'm going to Martinsville. Well, Friday night, so I'm not going to see Junior race, which is sad, but I've been setting on some tickets for Elton John for quite some time now, so I get to see him Friday night. Then I'm going to make the trek up to Martinsville Saturday and watch the boys go round and round.
Nice, Cody. Hey, I'm going there too.
You're going to?
Yeah, where are your seats at?
Section G, row 6, seat 5.
Oh, dude, I got seat 6 in that section.
What?
That is fucking
Bro,
crazy.
what?
That you guys bought your tickets separately.
Yeah, what are the odds?
Bro,
Yeah.
we got to record this. This is an episode highlight for sure.
Wow.
It's insane. Mind blowing.
I didn't even talk to Cody about it at all. I didn't text
It's a
him once
small
about
world.
going to Martinsville.
Yeah, no, I did not say, hey, here's where my seats are. I definitely did not say that. So he did not select the seat right beside me.
Definitely didn't ask, or definitely didn't text Cody and ask how many times he's going.
But this starts my my back-to-back racing week. So it's fun to get that in this early into the season. So we got Martinsville this weekend, and then I'll be at Bristol Dirt the week after.
Yeah.
Then you're coming to Dover at the beginning of May. Did I hear that?
I definitely, you did not hear that. No.
Darn it.
Why would I choose, like, out of every northern track, why would it be Dover?
Why wouldn't it be Dover?
Why wouldn't
I would
it?
rather go to Watkins Glen. Like, if I'm going north for a race, it would be Watkins Glen.
August.
Well, I just got to see where I'm at, buddy. I am a poor, broke college student. Like,
I
I
got
can
you.
only do so much.
I got you if you come up. Come on,
Fly me up there.
drive. I'm driving down to Virginia.
So unlike you, lucky SOB, I can go to one race a year because of the travel costs.
So which one are you doing?
Atlanta, July. We'll be there.
Have you ever been to Atlanta?
No.
What tracks have you been to?
I've been to Talladega and Las Vegas. That is it.
How is Vegas?
I went to the fall race last year, so I saw the most boring fucking race imaginable.
Okay. Yeah.
But I mean, it's all right. The track is pretty cool to look through. I mean, we did the Neon Garage thing, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it was all right. It wasn't stellar or anything. But it was a tough race.
People give SMI so much shit, but they genuinely do provide like the best like fan experience out of any other track, in my opinion.
Daytona, man, you got to go to Daytona.
I mean, I want to go to the 500, but
I would do it. I mean, I think like the fan concourses are nice. Getting in and out's easy. Like before the renovation, I would have said otherwise, but afterwards, it's a completely different thing.
Dude, it's just when I think super speedway, Colton, you'll be able to understand and agree. I immediately just think of like the misery of going to Talladega. There's so much walking. Like it's not even fun, dude.
Yeah.
Like there's a lot of walking. I'll give you that. But there's like escalators and stuff like that, which is nice.
Before
there's not even cell service at Talladega.
Before 8 p.m., I'm not walking anywhere except for the bathroom at Talladega. Like I'm staying like under the fucking canopy, like chilling out. Yeah, I'm not walking anywhere in that heat.
Dude, we walked for the fall race. I went down. If I didn't lose 20 pounds, like just from like sweat and walking, I didn't lose a pound at all. And like I was beat for like 4 days. And even just recently with Atlanta, like it was so miserably hot. I mean, I live in Tennessee, so like I know what southern heat is like. And it was like the first hot of the year. So like I go from 45-degree weather to just like the sun beating me.
Yeah, I being in Wyoming, like October, Alabama is hot, so I can't imagine July, Atlanta.
Oh, buddy,
man!
Imagine going to. I went to like Coke 0400s that were rain delayed to the daytime race. It's warm. Like the humidity gets you.
Yeah, and that's like that part of the South, like Middle Tennessee, Georgia, Florida, like it feels the exact same. Like the same time of year, it's miserable. Of course, Florida's humidity is like cranked up on steroids, but like Middle Tennessee summer is. That's why, like for Nashville, I don't know if I'm doing Nashville just because of the heat. Yeah. I'm going to be at Bonnaroo the weekend before, so like my body's already going to be like ripped to shreds after a 4-day music festival.
Oh, you'll just be conditioned for that, then.
I'm gonna need to be like in a hospital bed with an IV in my.
I'll tell you what. If you go to July Atlanta, I'll bring you a couple bottles of Pedialyte.
I think I'm coming back just because I enjoyed this race so much. I was gonna like base it off of how much I enjoyed the spring race, right? Like if the repave was terrible, wasn't gonna come, but I freaking loved the repave. So
yeah, we'll check it out. We'll probably see you there. I know I'm going. Alex will be going. And we're trying to get these two locked in.
Hoping. I got school, though, so it's going to be kind of tough. I got summer classes and stuff.
See about work.
Yeah.
So you just do your work a week early.
They're in person. One of these classes is in person. So
that's rough, like, yeah. In person in summer, that's awful.
It's like 1 day a week, but the problem is that like there wasn't an online option. I'm like, are you serious? Like,
yeah.
Oh, I did summer class last year.
Like I want to do it every semester so I can graduate earlier. That's my thing.
That's smart.
Like I don't want to graduate in like the fall of 2024 or whatever.
Yeah, just drop out of college.
Drop out.
Just drop out, dude. That's the best way to go.
That's what I tell myself every day. It's like I could just end all of this suffering and just drop out.
That's true.
I played a year of college baseball just to say I played college baseball, and then was like, fuck this.
Where'd you play?
York, Nebraska. It's an NAIA school, private school.
Okay, nice. What position were you?
Middle infield.
Okay, nice.
Sick. I played left bench in Little League.
Yeah. Yeah, I did say that I set the record for like most splinters picked out of my ass like most bats picked up from the on deck circle kind of thing. Yeah,
There you go.
Is that in your conference or is that like nationwide?
I think
record?
I set the fucking record. I had to have. Like if
What I
not,
like
I'm
to
really
hear.
close. Like if I'd have stayed another year, I'm career leader.
That's
Yeah.
impressive. You should be
That's a
proud of
flex.
that.
That's a flex. That needs to be on a t-shirt.
Do you have
Yeah.
a plaque? Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't. I should make one. Yeah.
Throw it on,
Most
throw it
misses
on a
taken
shirt.
in between innings. Yeah.
Throw it on a shirt.
Yeah. Well, that was a good episode. Hell of a tangents we went on.
Thanks for having me on.
Yeah,
Thanks,
thanks for
Kevin.
jumping on. Jared, Nate, thanks for being here again.
Yeah.
Jared, I've seen you 2 weeks in a row now. It's kind of weird.
I know. I'm back on the grind now. I don't have basketball games to cover.
Yeah, back in a more steady schedule.
Yeah.
Other than that,
Relaxing schedule.
guys, please check us out at fanfuelmotorsports.com. Go follow us on Twitter at fanfuelmsm. That's capital F, capital MSM. We will be back here again next week with another topic for you. We'll cover everything from Martinsville. Thanks again to Cody Powers for jumping on last minute.
Let's go, Cody.
Yeah, and then you guys have a great weekend.